welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which we find out how horrible we are because of the way we were born. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dog Cat Fox, a Pepperjack, and joining me today once again, Kurt Metzger.
Thank you, Scribe.
Yes, everyone. Kurt Metzger, comedian extraordinaire, host of the Can't Get Right podcast on Gas Digital. You can find a link in the description to that, as well as his homepage, his Instagram, his Twitter, his YouTube channel. I think I got his blood type in there somewhere too. Either way.
Oh, I think my Instagram, you got to go to Kurt Metzger Comedy because somebody else has Kurt Metzger. I think a fake me has just my name.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I've done my homework, and the Kurt Metzger Comedy is the Instagram I have listed.
Oh, good.
It's because I am a professional.
Better than the press.
Tell me about it. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a good, was it Monday? Yes, Monday. Magical Monday. So we have an exciting show for you today. Now, it's a little known fact that Kurt is half of a duo with Kyle Dunnigan that does a little skit show called Pussies that features male feminists. How long you guys been doing that?
Well, he started before I got there, but I guess for a few months. But yeah, they're mostly just sad men. Like, it's almost they haven't read any theory. They just parrot what their horrible partners say, basically. So they're actually like, that's the character. That's how I see the characters. Like, they don't actually know any of this stuff themselves.
All right. And link to Kyle's channel is also in the description if you guys want to check that out. But given that fact, when I saw this one, I thought of Kurt. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. But no, this one's been floating around for quite a while. I remember seeing it the first time it was posted a while back. I think it was a year or two ago now, but I never did my own video on it for one reason or another. I can't remember why, but anyway, it is one of the most watched TED Talks I have ever seen. 2.5 million views.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, now, admittedly, this is as far as I recall, this is an actual TED Talk, not a TEDx talk, so it's of higher quality.
Well, this is a couple years ago it came out, right? At least
a year, if not a little longer. I forget exactly.
Yeah, so there was still a lot. I mean, there was probably a big Me Too wave. I remember seeing a lot of, like, this is around the time of the Gillette ad, I imagine.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know exactly when, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will look it up here. Let's see. The speaker made a gender equality male apology video on Now This in January 2018. That sounds about right to when this probably came out. So let's see. A few hellos before we get into it, just because thank you guys for showing up today. N Hill, hello, the Magister, Sean Uli, Kiever Dam, Spyro Girl, Willet Forge, Asian Hippie, Some Namnon Nation, Stefan Tyler, Jaeger Pony, Check Your Logic, Dina B, Advocatus Diaboli, Midday Sin, Chelly Roberts, Black Belt for Christ, Zeke Weiss, Joshua Wetzel, A Scanner Daftly, who else? And then chat jumps because, of course, it does. Zalbla, hello. Ranting Monkey, hello. And Shio Gorath, hello. Bookworm, hello. Just Paul, hello. Mike Savage, Blarg, and more people popping in. I apologize, guys. I could go all day saying hellos. Say hello to you all. I appreciate it. All right, so this one is called Why I'm Done Trying to Be Man Enough by Justin Baldoni. Now, the only thing I know about Justin Baldoni, aside from his stunning appearance, is he's an actor in some TV show, or was. I don't know if he still is. But he's going to tell us why he is just done. He is just done.
No idea what TV show.
I think it was some kind of CW Dramacom thing or something.
Oh, like maybe that was the name of the show, Trying to Be Man Enough, and maybe he's talking about why he's leaving.
Let's see, just for reference's sake, Justin Baldoni portraying Raphael Solano on the CW satirical comedy dramedy Jane the Virgin.
Oh, I heard of that show. I've never watched it, but I think I've heard of it.
I think I've heard of it. I've never watched it either, but we'll see what his acting chops are as we begin. As always, guys, we'll start off with a couple of seconds for sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it. This one is a relatively long talk at 18 minutes, so about 3 minutes over the usual maximum, but I'm sure we'll just blow right through it. So here we go.
As an actor, I get scripts.
Do you? You also get a trailer? You get a paycheck?
I love their openings.
As an actor, I got scripts. Asian Hippie says sounds good. Let's see. Our speaker probably played misogynist number 5. Now, if he had a name, in the show, he's probably a regular good guy. Probably. Especially if it's a comedy, dramedy kind of thing. But Brave Starts is Stefan and Tyler. Yeah. As an actor, I get scripts. What else do you get?
And it's my job to stay on script, to say my lines, and bring to life a character that someone else wrote.
Okay, so this was done in November of 2017, so just after the Weinstein thing broke that summer. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, TED Talks, generally, they will post the talk some months after it was first recorded, so this probably came out in 2018 or thereabouts.
Okay.
Over the course of my career, I've had the great honor playing some of the greatest male role models ever represented on television.
Teddy Roosevelt?
You might recognize me as male escort number 1.
Yeah.
Photographer, date rapist.
Photographer, date rapist.
Oh, I do recognize him as that. Was that for you?
Hey, that could be.
Shirtless date rapist from the award-winning Spring Break Shark Attack.
What?
Shirtless medical student, a shirtless steroid-using con man, and in my most well-known role as Raphael.
Yes, pause for applause. Thank you, Chugga Mike. So our speaker is Captain Obvious. So far.
He's like a dumb actor. Is this going to be about what he learned from? Remember, this reminds me of. Remember, Mandy Patinkin quit that cop show he was on, and he said it's because he was sick of seeing a dead girl every week. And I was like, that's amazing because he's such a good actor. He got like fake grizzled at his fake cop job.
Yeah, right. You can get burned out from the material. I mean, I could see that if you're like super method or something, or
I think he is.
Yeah, I could see that happening. For this guy's sake, golly, I feel real sorry for him so far. Shirtless.
I'm going to tell these writers better words to put in me to say.
Colleen Bernier says, described by Jane the Virgin is an American version of a Spanish telenovela. Aha. Okay. Well.
Is it satirical?
I don't know. Por qué?
A brooding, reformed playboy who falls for, of all things, a virgin. And who's only occasionally shirtless. Now, these roles don't represent...
Nobody's laughing at
that. What now?
The laughter stopped when those abs came out. Did you see that?
Oh, they're like, oh.
It just went to stunned silence.
Their breath left them. Like, oh, the 6-pack, the 9-pack.
Man, I am in my real life. But that's what I love about acting. I get to live inside characters very different than myself.
Oh, wow.
They're called casting agents. And
I'll
do whatever it takes.
You know you've made it when you've reached a point where every character you play is just you, like a Will Smith.
Yeah, right.
Before then, you actually have to work for a living.
I'm going to say there probably is no him. I think he's all haircut and, like that. I know a ton of actors that are just like that, like empty soda cans, basically. That's Kyle's
Every time I got one of these roles, I was surprised. Because most of the men I play ooze machismo, charisma, and power.
And you put no effort into your physique to do that yourself. Okay. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, from laughter to deluge from the seats. Oh, God, yeah. Sploosh.
Yeah.
And when I look in the mirror, that's just not how I see myself.
Well, self-esteem issues run rampant in Hollywood.
That front row's sloppier than a Gallagher show right now.
Are we at SeaWorld?
But it was how Hollywood saw me. And over time, I noticed a parallel between the roles I would play as a man, both on screen and off.
Oh, ooh.
I've been pretending to be a man that I'm not my entire life.
Okay. I'm really a fat guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm actually obese, hidden in his chiseled body.
I don't think we're gonna have any bingo. I have a feeling it's gonna be a no bingo one.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay, Native, thank you so much. Will he take his shirt off for this TED Talk? Well, we're only a minute in. By the way, guys, I forgot to mention
his
bingo card. Link to the bingo cards in the description. Have it ready. I I'm pretty sure we're going to get some squares circled. A bingo? We might not get a bingo. We'll see. And thank you, A. We're listening here. Be very different from himself. Does he mean straight? Oh.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it, but I think it.
Crypto, thank you so much. The soy is strong with this one. Use the soy.
I mean, you can't argue with those abs if that's what soy does.
I've been pretending to be strong when I felt weak. Confident when I felt insecure. And tough when really I was hurting.
That's called fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You're in Hollywood, right?
I think for the most part, I've just been kind of putting on a show.
As an actor?
Wow.
Damn.
But I'm tired of performing.
Oh, okay. Well, quit. I'm sure Jane the Virgin could do
why
that.
I'm doing this one-man show to explain why I'm tired of performing.
Right, exactly. I'm not employing any acting skills here at all.
And I can tell you right now that it is exhausting trying to be man enough for everyone all the time.
This is the manette. This is the first nanette.
Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people, Scribbles, and Kurt. Hello, Kyle. It's exhausting. The emotional labor I'm putting myself through every day, trying to be so manly for everyone.
Yeah, what does he want to do?
I don't know.
Now, right?
Yeah, the one guy in the eyes like, right, it's really tough being a man out here. Since like 90% of the audience is women.
My brother heard that. Now, for as long as I can remember, I've been told the kind of man that I should grow up to be.
Okay.
As a boy, all I wanted was to be accepted and liked by the other boys.
Yeah, that's not shared by everybody who's ever a kid, whether you're a boy or a girl.
Oh my God.
But that acceptance meant I had to acquire this almost disgusted view of the feminine.
What? I mean, if you're like a kid.
Is he a gay guy? Is this just a gay guy? Is that what this is?
I don't know, but I mean, girls are icky is kind of where boys are at when they're very young. So, thank you, Andrew James. Nice work, gentlemen. Well, thank you, Andrew. So with that being said, I'm going to circle free space on the bingo card as well as childhood or family anecdote, because he's talking about his growing up as a child.
You're right.
I'm gonna forego going over the card quite yet because he hasn't gotten far enough in. But those are the two I'm circling: free space, childhood or family anecdote, and we'll see where we get as we proceed.
And since we were told that feminine is the opposite of masculine, I either had to reject embodying any of these qualities or face rejection myself.
Feminine is the opposite of the masculine.
Who told him? Who told you that? I just like, they always say like I was taught. Like, who's this teacher, this man teacher you had?
I mean, usually it's the father. Sometimes it's your peers, kind of thing. There's, and you know, if you see G.I. Joe or stuff as you're a kid, I mean, I could see that, but he has to tell us is the problem. I mean, there's a lot of filling in the blanks we could do for him, but
I think his main teacher is women, is what I think. I think he did. This is a Guido, okay, but like you know, the like he has a turtle back home, like Entourage that he knows, and this dude like. I knew him up in Jersey. I know a bunch of these guys, and they all like, you know, they listen to this awful dance music that I know they don't like, but girls like it. So everything's that entire way of being is modeled by women. Like he probably just went and did whatever got him laid, is my guess.
Possible. Let's find out.
This is the script that we've been given.
By who?
Right? Girls are weak, and boys are strong.
Okay. Have you ever seen like a single mother before? You know, talk about like weak women. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a vague. Does he mean physically strong? Like
right. Yeah. The strong female character has always got to be like somebody who can't be ever hurt. When strength comes from overcoming obstacle, like showing that you face a challenge, you overcome it. That's strength of character, quote unquote, not strength of physicality necessarily. But okay, so you've been given this script. Women are weak, men are strong, which we all know are complete stereotypes. And of course, it depends on the context of what you mean by strength. But all right, so this is your proposition.
This is what's being subconsciously communicated to hundreds of millions of young boys and girls all over the world.
Subconsciously, okay. By who? By what?
Just like it was with me.
Uh-huh.
Well, I came here today to say, as a man, that this is wrong.
Oh.
This is toxic.
Oh, toxic. All right.
Wow. I was wrong. And almost like the not enough context given. Isn't that a square? Am I wrong?
I'm going to give him some more time because maybe this is just the intro. If he moves on from something too quickly, then maybe. But yeah, leaves out vital context is a square. So we got toxic. Let's see. He hasn't actually said feminism yet, so I'm not circling that one, but we'll probably get there. Equity, I wouldn't be surprised if we get there. Okay, let's see.
And it has to end.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
Now, I'm not here to give a history lesson.
Because that'd be informative.
We likely all know how we got here, okay?
Well, the stork?
Does he mean evolution or creation?
Yeah, I know, I was about to say, or like, the bus.
But I'm just a guy that woke up after 30 years and realized that I was living in a state of conflict.
At 30 years it took you to figure that out?
Wow.
Damn, because the rest of us, dude, I mean, hell, conflict. We don't, what's that like?
Wow. What a beautiful airhead.
Conflict with who I feel I am in my core.
Oh.
And conflict with who the world tells me as a man I should be.
Oh God, none of us experience like sense of identity or purpose in life. That's boy, you're so unique.
This is like the world. I'm telling you, it's what the vibes he gets from chicks. And now he's realizing because he's a handsome guy, he could say whatever and they're going to be into it. That's what his big awakening is.
Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. And by the way, Johnny, congratulations on the wedding. Good job on you and the new missus. Girls are weak, eh? I should remind my older sisters that beat my ass on the daily. I know, right?
But I don't have a desire to fit into the current broken definition of masculinity.
Well, good for you, whatever that means.
Yeah, what is the definition? You'll never hear that defined when somebody says masculinity. You'll never hear like what exactly is like the good and bad masculinity.
Well, this is the challenge that he's put before himself. He has to define his terms, which almost never happens on these things. But he has to tell us, okay, what is the baseline? What is the toxic norm that you are defying now? And then what is your version that is better? If he doesn't do that, then yeah, it leaves out vital context getting circled. Thank you, Havoc Vladimirovich Stalinov. This is wrong. This is toxic. And please notice me. I'm so lonely. Unquote. There, fix it. Thank you, Havoc. And thank you, Tall Person. Hoy, y'all. I have to head into work today, so I'll watch in full later. Happy National Apple Betty Day, everybody. National Apple Betty. God, when was the last time I had an Apple Betty? You ever had an Apple Betty?
I don't know.
It's a dessert.
Oh, like a kind of like a crumble or something? Like
sort of, yeah. I'm trying to think because I've seen it. I'm trying to remember if I've ever had it. But anyway, today's National Apple Betty Day. So if you feel so inclined, find an Apple Betty somewhere. All right, so everything's toxic, and how is it toxic? Come on, play.
Because I don't just want to be a good man.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I want to be a good human.
What?
Tell me the difference between those two things. What does that mean? Okay, I'm getting ready to circle word salad on that one alone.
And I believe the only way that can happen is if men learn to not only embrace the qualities that we were told are feminine in ourselves, but to be willing to stand up, to champion, and learn from the women who embody them.
Okay, so first off, going back to the card, mind reading assumes motives. He knows what all men think and how all men act. Maybe not plays victim yet. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Well, he was obviously a terrible, terrible man until he woke up after 30 years. Benevolent. Real quick. A benevolent condescension. I'm going to teach all the men how to be better men because you're obviously all flawed. So circle that one. Okay, go ahead.
At least the guy from the right stuff one, my favorite one with that long hair guy you did, he at least admitted to slapping his girlfriend around. I have no idea what this guy's ever done.
I am dying to know if he ever gets to a point of confession, like to show how he's changed and evolved, because that's what that guy, or the right guy, that's what he's technically trying to do. It's like, I used to be a terrible person, now I'm enlightened. Yeah, okay, right. So how I want to hear his deep, dark Hollywood story of excess, how he took advantage, or where he acted out, or in college he did X, Y, and Z, because that's really going to tell me something. Look at those women.
I know.
They are beaming. They are beaming. And look at the smiles. They're just
those are some thirsty wine ants in that crowd.
Oh my gosh, look at them. They are so enthralled by this guy.
Now, men, I'm not saying that everything we've learned is toxic.
Yes, you did. You just did. You did distinguish between men and humans. You made it. You said that men are somehow separate from human beings. You just did that. What the hell?
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with you or me.
You just did. You just did. What the?
And men, I'm not saying we have to stop being men.
What? Well, okay. If being a man is inherently toxic, and you want to get away from that, and it's wrong, and it needs to stop, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, there's no terms. As it said, I don't know what a toxic behavior is other than, I haven't heard anything he did that was toxic other than he heard that girls are weak and boys are strong ones.
Right. Okay.
So
aside from the most classic of stereotypes between the sexes, you need to tell us what you mean. I understand we're only 4 minutes into an 18-minute thing, so you've got time, but we need some examples, please.
But we need balance, right?
What new, like sneakers? What?
balance bar.
We need balance. And the only way things will change is if we take a real honest look at the scripts that have been passed down to us from generation to generation.
Okay, well, this is something that's common with these things. Okay, so why is it that men need to look to women to be better men? If you're talking about balance, don't you also have to acknowledge that some traits in human beings, regardless of the gender, are just toxic by themselves, regardless of the genitalia of the person performing that action?
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like he thought that much through on it, but the people that believe in that, I would say they think those toxic things are in fact good if a woman does it, like the people that originated that kind of shit.
Well, sure, like aggression in a man is bad because
like psychopathy.
Yeah, but aggression in a woman is good because it's an example of strength, right? They're asserting themselves or something.
Yeah, right.
There are different ways to interpret.
A real Theranos voice.
Oh, Theranos. Oh man, that lady. I've seen a couple documentaries on her. She's what a nutbag. Anyway.
Yeah, I like the fake.
And the role.
Oh yeah, you've heard the recording of her when she dropped the voice?
Yeah,
she sounded like a regular girl. Like, okay,
that's the most insane thing I've ever heard of someone doing, putting on a fake deep voice for years.
It's like, how's it going, everybody? I'm going to tell you about my medical thing. I'm sorry. How's it? Oh, whoops.
Yeah,
how's it going?
It's such a weird psychological. I guess it worked though.
It convinced enough people, and she was valued at $9 billion. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up the company called Theranos, and it's Elizabeth. Oh, I forget her last name all of a sudden. But anyway, one of the most ridiculous con jobs in corporate America in the last 10 years. She had former politicians and actors and everything just in her wheelhouse, giving her all this money for a complete pipe dream. And it was all a con job. So anyway.
Roles that, as men, we choose to take on in our everyday lives.
Okay, such as?
So speaking of scripts,
yes.
The first script I ever got came from my dad.
Okay.
My dad is awesome.
Is he?
He's loving. He's kind.
But he gave you a script of toxicity?
What did you learn on the streets?
He's sensitive.
Yes.
He's nurturing.
Yes.
He's here.
So he's not your average man then. He's so nice, and men obviously aren't nice or kind or nurturing at all because
I bet his dad got laid so hard off this show.
He's surrounded by milks.
Yeah, there's that.
He's crying.
Is he?
But sorry, Dad. As a kid, I resented him for it.
Oh my God, that's your inherent toxicity talking.
So
because I blamed him.
Right?
Your mom taught you to be a toxic man, then, is what you're saying?
I guess. I mean,
I should have learned femininity from my father.
I mean, if your dad gave you the script and he was acting in a certain way, then why did you resent him for it? Tell us, please.
Him for making me soft.
Oh.
Which wasn't welcomed in the small town in Oregon that we had moved to.
Oh, so is that why you're so chiseled now? You're fighting against your dad?
It wasn't welcome in the small town of Hardville, Oregon that we lived in.
I was about to say, it's like, oh yeah, Oregon. Yeah. I mean, the mean streets of where? Portland?
Well, it's probably outside of it where it's like redneck. You know, Portland's like a island of real one extreme in a pretty rural setting.
That is true.
Soft meant that I was bullied.
Uh-huh.
See, my dad wasn't traditionally masculine, so he didn't teach me how to use my hands. He didn't teach me how to hunt, how to fight.
So he gave you no skills to protect yourself? Oh.
Were you going to hunt the children? Why would that?
If only I had known how to hunt, then they would have paid.
Yeah. Man stuff.
Yeah.
Instead, he taught me what he knew.
The macrame?
Tap dancing. Chugging dick.
Man was about sacrifice.
Human sacrifice?
And doing whatever you can to take care of and provide for your family.
That sounds like traditional masculine shit, by the way.
Yeah. And what do you think hunting is?
I know.
What is the base utility of hunting? Okay. And so working for a living, sacrificing your time and your wants and desires for the sake of, protecting and raising your family, that kind of thing. Oh,
that sounds like the literal script that they tell you as a man is what you're supposed to do.
It's also instinctual. It's like, the provider, the defender, the hunter, and so on. Okay, so if your dad wasn't teaching you how to hunt, but he was teaching you how to provide for your family, what does that mean?
But there was another role I learned how to play from my dad.
Okay, you know what? I'm circling leaves out vital context because he's just not.
Yeah.
He's not telling us anything. I'm close to circling contradicts own point or argument, but I have a feeling in aggregate we'll get there by the end of this. Okay, so your dad taught you things that weren't manly, but you resented him for it because it made you soft because you weren't hunting children. So, okay, then what?
Who I discovered learned it from his dad, a state senator who later in life had to work nights as a janitor to support his family.
Well, that's a downfall.
Wow, talk about, what was he, the last honest senator? How does that happen?
It's like, did he not learn the wonderfulness of graft at some point?
Wow, did you have that's amazing. I don't even think I've heard of that, of somebody leaving the Senate, not a jillionaire.
Well, maybe this is the olden days where he actually went into public service for the public good.
Yeah, that blows my mind. Like, I assume his grandfather's a good guy because of that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, well, hell, I got a lot of respect for your grandfather all of a sudden if he went from state senator to a janitor and didn't try to take advantage of nothing. And good for him, I guess.
And he never told a soul. That role was to suffer in secret. And now 3 generations later, I find myself playing that role too.
You're not suffering in secret if you're standing on a TED stage telling everybody that you're suffering.
We're the ones suffering.
Couldn't my grandfather just reach out to another man and ask for help?
Okay. All right. So pride, independence.
Do you think it's a failure as maybe as a senator more so than a man? He didn't want to.
Maybe that tells you why he's a janitor at that point.
He didn't want to be bullied by the other senators.
Okay. All right. Let's entertain that for a second because I know where he's going. Okay. Is it inherently a flaw to be hesitant to ask for help and try to do things on your own?
I wouldn't say it is, no.
Now, I have sort of a personal experience on this because from about 20 through about 37 or so, I suffered from anxiety disorder. And for all the time, I tried to handle it on my own.
Oh, you mean mental stuff? I thought you meant.
Well, I mean,
I'm like, starving or something. Or...
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about okay. I guess there is a distinction there between something that's going on.
Yeah, mental health stuff is it definitely. I mean, but that's that's not just the men from that generation. That's like everybody.
Sure. Okay. Well, I guess that distinction me. He's talking about it was tough to make ends meet and that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
but that's a good point. The mental, because that's the thing you shouldn't really. I found it very helpful myself. And I always kind of down on that before I got therapy.
Well, for me, I was looking down on myself for it because I thought if I can't handle this on my own, then I'm giving myself over to other people's manipulations, kind of thing. And I was also very wary of taking some kind of medication that was going to change my personality. Yeah,
that makes me the therapist I went to, I just wouldn't take anything.
Yeah, doing chemical experimentation with my brain was not exactly high on my list. But at a certain point, around 36, 37, I was just managing everything going on inside of me and not really living.
Yeah, right.
And that's when I finally kind of broke down. I had a friend at the time who also was dealing with that kind of stuff, and she was like, why won't you go see this guy that I'm recommending? Why won't you try, taking medication? And I said, I don't trust that I'll still be me if I get on medication. And she says, well, I've been on medication half the time you've known me. Am I not me? And I really didn't have an argument against that at that point. It's like, oh, so that's when I kind of gave in, like, so, but as far as like, okay, pride versus something that is like pragmatically you need help, like,
right. Yeah.
That's different. So, so if he's saying that, but then again, that's not an inherently male trait.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. And so, okay, anyway, I'm babbling on.
Why does my dad to this day still think he's got to do it all on his own? I know men who would rather die than tell another man that they're hurting.
Okay, now we're talking about mental stuff there. Okay,
right.
I'm hurting or something else. Okay, do it on your own. Well, it is a sense of self-pride if you can take care of yourself. And again, that's not a male trait. That is a independence trait, which I'm told oftentimes is some kind of inherently toxic American philosophy.
Yeah, right.
But okay, so yes, people, not just men, people are hesitant to ask for help. Here's the thing that goes to the core of both, I think, is that there's a lot of us who innately do not wish to burden someone else with our problems.
Yeah, right.
Whether it's something, mechanical, like I don't have enough money or something, or obviously mental stuff that maybe someone else either won't understand or you don't want to make them have to deal with your problems.
Right.
But okay, are you going to tell me why this is an inherently male problem?
But it's not because we're just all like strong, silent types.
Uh-huh.
It's not.
Okay.
A lot of us men are really good at making friends and talking.
Well, present company excluded. Okay.
Just not about anything real.
Oh.
If it's about work or sports or politics or women, we have no problem sharing our opinions.
Hey, I talk about Star Wars.
Also, any close friend I would talk about anything. I mean, I don't think it's unique because it's like stand-ups or something. I think I don't even understand what he's talking. He sounds like a very kind of shallow person.
I mean, it sounds, and of course, I have no idea because I didn't live then, but it sounds like a very antiquated 1950s sort of cookie cutter notion of how the sexes related one to another.
Yeah, right.
Like Mad Men or something. But again, all that stuff is just, representational, fictional. I don't know, but
this guy's Italian too. I'm Italian. That's a big.
Yeah, I guess it's also a cultural thing, like where you grew up or what kind of family you came from and that kind of thing. I never felt any. I mean, there was always the pressure as growing up as a kid. If I was smaller than everybody else, and I was quiet, and I was, I had glasses when I was 6 and everything, so I was already out on the outs before I even started. And so, sure, I always felt like I didn't belong and all that kind of thing. But I never really felt like it was a masculine thing so much as a attitude thing.
Yeah,
like
right.
I had to be more. What do I want to say? I mean, most of the kids that I grew up with were, on reflection, mostly just sort of like arrogant little jerks.
Right.
And I didn't have anything to compare it to at that point. So I thought that I had to be an arrogant jerk or something to be part of the crowd. But I couldn't bring myself to be that kind of attitude that I didn't feel because it wasn't natural to me.
Right.
But I didn't really recognize it as masculine. I didn't think of it in those terms. It was just sort of like feeling like I fit in. I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, that's just like his what do they call it? Solipsism. Like it's his subjective
right
feeling. And he's like, well, men do this because I do this. And I don't know. It's very like, I guess people really get taught to feel that way too. Like it's unique to their gender or whatever, some universal human feeling.
Yeah. And I understand that it's also to a certain extent unavoidable to project your experience on the world because you can't read someone else's mind you don't know,
right,
etc. But I think there's a difference between sort of doing that a little bit, but also understanding that you're your own person. And then there's people who get up on a stage and tell us that everybody thinks the way they do, or their experience is the example that counts for everybody else, which is always a little bit presumptuous.
But if it's about our insecurities or our struggles, our fear of failure,
yeah,
then it's almost like we become paralyzed.
It's not just men that do that. It's not just men that do that. I hate to tell you this. It's not just men that do that. And And again, it doesn't. It has. I think it has more to do with not wanting to bother anybody with your problems most of the time.
I had a friend whose great aunt, she ended up dying of some kind of cancer because she didn't want to be a bother to the family and bring up that she was in excruciating pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to be somebody else's problem.
Now that was a real man.
Right. There's a real, she was boy, toxic masculinity.
She died a man.
She died a man.
At least I do.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
So some of the ways that I've been practicing breaking free of this behavior are by creating experiences that force me to be vulnerable.
Okay.
So if there's something I'm experiencing shame around in my life, I practice diving straight into it.
Okay. Give me an example, because I mean, I've encountered many things in my life where like I'll go to a party and I'll have interacted with people, and after the party, I'll think about what happened over the course of the night, and I'll think, gosh, I should have done this, or I should have said this, or why didn't I do X, Y, Z? And I'll have a little bit of introspection. I'll say, well, you know what? If you don't want to feel this way again after the next party, maybe you should change your behavior.
Right.
And
I used to, yeah, right. I used to feel shame about going to prostitutes, but now I just dive right in.
That's right. Hell with it.
No matter how scary it is.
Okay, like what?
And sometimes even publicly. Because then in doing so.
Oh, are you referring to what you're doing right now? Oh, you're so brave. So brave.
Pause for laugh.
A professional actor on a stage before an audience. Oh, God. How do you do it?
So I take away its power. And my display of vulnerability can, in some cases, give other men permission to do the same.
Oh, we need your permission?
Take your shirt off.
Yeah, take. So now, men, I'd like you all to stand up in the audience and along with me, take your shirt off.
Everybody take off.
Everybody take your shirt off. Women, if you feel like it, let's go too. Now, you know where I learned to stand up to my fears and fight them and everything? Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warrior. Okay? You know, when Freddy Krueger,
you were the dungeon master one?
I was the dungeon master, even though I never played D&D until I was like 22. I understood that kid. He's like, I am Geldor, the wizard, you know, and he whatever. Yeah, that's where I learned to stand up to my fears, even though I was pissing my pants because I was like 7 years old or whatever when that movie came out, and I freaked myself out. But anyway, yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street 3. You want to learn about facing your fears? There you go.
As an example.
Okay, an example. Oh my God. Here we go, guys.
How many minutes in for the first example?
We're 7 minutes in for the first example. All right, tell me.
A little while ago, I was wrestling with an issue in my life that I knew I needed to talk to my guy friends about.
Are you going to tell us what that issue is? Or are you going to still obscure that? Okay, please tell me. Is it about, I don't know, how much creatine you're taking in for your body weight?
But I was so paralyzed by fear that they would judge me and see me as weak, and I would lose my standing as a leader, that I knew I had to take them out of town on a 3-day guys trip just to open up. And guess what? It wasn't.
So you told them you're gay, and they were cool. They're like, we are also gay.
Wait a second. Whatever. I can't wait to find out if we find out what he was talking about or what he was so worried about. But in order to facilitate this conversation, you had to, in a friendly manner, kidnap your friends and take them out to isolation.
What is it?
Okay,
before he told them whatever it is, or after?
I am dying to know what this big secret was.
It wasn't until the end of the 3rd day that I finally found the strength to talk to them about what I was going through.
And
what was the great revelation? What was it?
He's going to not say it.
When I did, something amazing happened.
Oh, no. Okay, well, I already circled leaves out vital context. We're already there. I thank you, Johnny Hellcat, wrestling with his sexuality. Burnham joke, yeah.
I mean, oh, my God, you ass. Just like no payoff, man.
No. God, it's like a really bad hand job.
I realized that I wasn't alone.
Okay.
Because my guys had also been struggling.
With what?
And as soon as I found the strength and the courage to share my shame,
well, with what?
It was gone.
They have herpes. That's what it is.
Now, I've learned over time that if I want to practice vulnerability, then I need to build myself a system of accountability. So I've been really blessed as an actor. I've built a really wonderful fan base really, really sweet and engaged. And so I decided to use my social platform as kind of this Trojan horse.
Okay, you understand what the Trojan horse
is a
was?
herpes thing. Wear a condom. I get it.
Yeah. You also understand the Trojan horse was an evil deception.
He is a Trojan horse.
Yeah, I'm going to use a Trojan horse here. It's like, oh, okay. So,
oh, fuck. It is literally that. He's a Trojan horse for shitty ideas.
There's death and destruction waiting within. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to the bingo card again real quick because I'm curious to see if anything I can make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. No. Marginalization. Not directly yet. We might get there. Plays victim. I mean, to himself, sort of, or to actually, you know what? Plays victim to masculinity. That he really is making himself a victim of his own makeup. Thank you, Piccolo, the driving Ant-Man. Sorry I'm late. Welcome back, Kurt. Well, thank you, Piccolo.
Thank you.
Equity, not yet. Word salad. I'll probably circle it by the end of this. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything unique yet, nor has he said something I like to call or whatever. So we haven't gotten there. Feminism. It's implied, but I'm waiting to see if he says it. Systemic, institutional, no. Patriarchy, again, implied, but not said yet. Contradicts own point or argument.
He did do that specifically right in the beginning.
Yeah, he did. So I'm going to circle that one. Privilege, no. Weightless example. Well, his guy friend trip is going to be weightless here pretty quick because he said it was an example, but he didn't tell us what the context was. So I'm getting ready to circle that one if he doesn't give us more information. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. There's been the implication of that with talking about the stereotypes, like women are weak and men are strong, etc. I'm going to wait. Again, some of these might be circled in aggregate by the end of the talk. Takes credit for something done or experienced by others in their demographic. I mean, he's projected his experience onto his demographic, but he hasn't said something like I am the descendant. Well, he's talking about his own family. Anyway, well, white supremacy, no. Wage gap, no. He hasn't talked about any pay kind of thing. A list. He hasn't given us any steps yet for curing ourselves of our toxic masculinity, but I'm thinking that's coming. And anecdote that probably never happened.
Well, we saw the evidence of the guy trip.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I do believe that he took his guy friends with that picture out on a trip and shared with them something crazy, and then they were all like
fucking Zoolander. They died in a gasoline fight afterwards.
All right. So that's right. So right now, guys, for reference, I have circled mind reading assumes motives, plays victim, self-vilification or wretchedness, childhood or family anecdote, benevolent condescension, free space, contradicts own point or argument, toxic, and leaves out vital context. We're variously away from at least one bingo, and I'd be surprised if we get to the one diagonally, but we'll see. All right, moving on.
Wherein I could create a daily practice of authenticity and vulnerability.
Authenticity is another one of my favorite buzzwords because it means absolutely nothing, but it's used a lot, like authentic education or bringing your authentic self to work. We did that one the last time.
Yeah, this is a real authentic TED Talk. I'll give him that. This is a real...
I forget who it was, and they were talking about actresses, but I think this goes for anybody. They said, never date an actress. They never stop acting. It's hard to trust an actor because,
and that's just the dudes.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't just apply to actresses. Just anybody who's who does this professionally. You always got a question mark in my head about someone's sincerity when I know
he's a completely empty vessel. I mean, I'm getting a strong impression that he is metaphorically a Trojan horse and that he's hollow inside.
Ooh, very good, Kurt. Wow. You almost sound like we're smart or something.
The response has been incredible. It's been affirming.
Oh, wow. You mean the star or at least an actor within a popular TV show who also looks like a Greek god has gotten a bunch of positive attention?
So what is a PR thing? Jane the Virgin Star just keep sharing feminist wisdom.
Well, he didn't say it out loud, but it's part of the presentation. So I'm circling feminism, guys. Circling feminism on the card. Yeah, so for those of you that are listening at home or on the road or something, he's putting up various clips, little screenshots of news or People magazine type articles about him. One reads, Jane the Virgin's Justin Baldoni gushes over wife and fatherhood, and we're swooning. The other one's from Bustle says, Jane the Virgin star Justin Baldoni keeps sharing feminist wisdom in honor of his daughter, and it's too good. Thank you, A. We're listening here. The story about his grandfather is definitely a lie. Think so? The politician that ended up a janitor? I see.
He just left out a lot of context. I mean,
yeah, left out a lot of context, but I mean, that's not self-aggrandizing, so it's difficult for me to think that it's completely false. Thank you, Piccolo, again. Does that make this guy the Oliver Green of TEDx? Sorry, it's the Oliver Green. What the hell is that? The Olive Garden of TEDx.
He really is a very Olive Garden kind of guy. They really, I mean, oh my God. What's the other one behind Jane the Virgin, Justin Baldoni? I just want to see the other headline.
Back up a bit. Okay, so let me advance. Okay, so the first one was from Elite Daily. Justin Baldoni talks Jane the Virgin season 4 and feminism. Okay, and feminism. All right.
It's been heartwarming.
Okay, the next one is Romper that says Justin Baldoni's best parenting Instagrams capture the beauty of love and love of having a baby. And I've got sirens going on in the background. By the way, guys, for those of you that are new here, I live about half a mile in 2 different directions from a fire department and a highway patrol office. So if you hear sirens, that's just because I'm in locality. Okay, so wow. He talks out about feminism and
just look at these fluff pieces about me. This is really I mean, I don't even think, I wonder if he knows he's like phony.
Thank you, Brittany Holland, joining a bit late, but hello, Scribe and Kurt. Hello, Brittany.
Hello, Brittany.
All right.
I get tons of love and press and positive messages daily.
Oh, yeah, and you're suffering for it, right? And everybody thinks that you're fake or something. Let's see, the other ones that read, sorry, I'm scanning around here a little bit. Cosmopolitan, Jane the Virgin star Justin Baldoni is the proudest, happiest, most effusive dad on Instagram. And then another People article. All the times Justin Baldoni was the best dad and husband ever. Boy, could they jerk you off any harder?
Messages daily.
And then Makers, never heard of them. How You Know Him. The LA-born actor stars on the hit CW show Jane the Virgin opposite Gina Rodriguez. He's also the producer of the most watched digital docuseries ever, The Last Days, which tells the emotional stories of people battling terminal illnesses. Why he's a maker. Quote, if you are a female director, chances are you don't have the credits. Okay. But it's not because you're not good. It's because you haven't had the damn chance, unquote. Baldoni is committed to changing that. His production company, Wayfarer Entertainment, is dedicated to amplifying women's voices in Hollywood.
I bet that guy is just crushing so much side pussy. I'll bet you anything. His
feminist inspiration, quote, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be the man I am today, unquote.
What?
Right. You're right. Kurt was right. Never mind his dad that he just gave like praise to forever.
None of us would be around today without our mom.
Yeah, gosh, all those men that don't have a mom never did. Thank you, Chicago Mike. If you hear sirens, then Ponch and John are on patrol. It could be the case. They might be running up and down the PCH, which is some distance from me. I'll just say. Anyway, okay. And then one more from People Babies. Okay, Justin Baldoni writes emotional letter to his unborn son in sweet gender reveal. Well, at least he didn't start a forest fire.
His senator grandfather, who ended up a janitor, has more pride in himself than this disappointment.
Okay, now Justin, tell us how all this positive press, all this just absolute softball treatment by the media and everybody else, that filled your soul to the point where you didn't feel bad about yourself anymore, right?
This is an ad for him as a woke actor. That's what I think. I think this is like put together with a PR person, and a time when like they're like, oh, men are bad, and like, oh, here's one of the good ones who should work a lot. I think that's what this is. Yeah,
methinks thou doth protest too much.
But it's all from a certain demographic. Women.
Oh, and this dude, that is your moneymaker. Are you okay? Oh, so it's our fault as men that we're not paying attention to you and your father babying, parenting fluff pieces in People magazine?
His dad doesn't read People Babies.
I was about to say, People yeah, you know those guys that read People Babies, right? Oh wait, I'm falling into stereotypes.
If somebody sees me picking up a copy of People Babies, I should be put on a list.
This is real.
No, really? By the way, guys, for those of you listening at home, there's a pie chart and graph on the screen that shows that the response to, I'm assuming the response to all those articles is primarily women by about like 85% or something. So,
Why are only women following me?
He really is asking that? I thought maybe you were off guessing that because it seemed too stupid of a thing. Why are only women following me is a real, not since what's her name? Brie Larson wondered where all the black people were at her press conference.
I mean, okay.
Why are black people reporting on me like they give a shit about Brie Larson? This is astonishing.
Okay, now, admittedly, he might be about to follow up with a rhetorical, like, well, obviously XYZ. But here's the other thing. If he's not, what kind of arrogance is it that, like, what? I should be following you just because you're you? What demographic are you marketed to? Why does the show that you're on have you on there? Why does every role you've already showed us have you with your shirt off?
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure he's got a male following too. They're just not
Well, there's that too. But the other thing too is like you're the one that maintains that body.
Yeah,
you
right.
have turned yourself into the product for a specific kind of demographic to get attention.
Right.
You're not blameless in this. You are leveraging sexuality for your own personal gain, which is fine. I'm not demonizing anybody.
I mean, he's like a silly hot chick. That's what he's like. It sounds like I don't know. I can't even think of an example on top of my head, but like a silly actress talking silly about important issues. But
thank you, Zan Wild. Scribe's happy. He said demographic, not group. That's true. You know what? The fact that he actually said that and not group, I didn't catch it. I have this big pet peeve about people saying group when it actually means demographic.
Right.
That always gets me because I have to leverage my English major somehow. That's all.
Wait, well, how is a demographic that different from a group? I actually don't know.
A group is like the Daughters of Confederate Soldiers or something. You have an identified and specific association one to another, and you adhere to that association. A demographic is just white males, right? Which can mean anything. It doesn't have any associated value whatsoever.
Well, that's a long-standing thing to turn demographics into groups. I mean, that's like the whole question.
Yeah. And sometimes I think people interchange those words accidentally,
Yeah, right.
But the problem is that whether they mean to or not, the idea that white people are a group or black females are a group takes away any individuality from them altogether, and also assumes that then that quote unquote group you're talking about are a monolith, which is not true.
Yeah, well, I think that's the idea.
Again, sometimes it's difficult for me to suss out, is someone saying group rather than demographic accidentally because they've been so conflated in the past, or is someone trying to sneak in the idea that what they're talking about applies to everyone within this demographic because they say so.
Right. Well, he just probably thinks in TV rating, so demographics is natural,
Yeah, that is true. So just by professionalism, he might be talking about demographics as demographics. But either way, I appreciate that he at least used the correct terminology. Now, if he's still, and he already has, but I'm hopeful that maybe he'll change his tune. He already talked about demographics as if they are monoliths. Regardless, that's always the other problem. Okay.
Where are the men?
They're there. They're there. Did you see the percentage?
You're hanging out at the wrong clubs.
It's not 100% women. Look at your pie chart. They are there.
Who would read People? What man reads any of that? Bustle.
The only time I ever read People is if I'm waiting for the dentist.
Yeah, right.
That's about it. I mean, I can't remember the last time I looked at a People magazine except for when I was in the waiting room at the dentist because there's nothing else to keep myself occupied.
I'm too manly to ask for help with my teeth.
I mean, usually if it's the difference between People and highlights, I'll go to highlights because Goofus and Gallant are there, and those are always fun.
Right. Yeah, it's usually like a golf magazine or People or something.
About a year ago, I posted this photo.
Okay, and for those of you at home, this photo is presumably our speaker and his wife, who is also exceedingly attractive, about to kiss each other, and he's got his hat on backwards.
I posted this photo, which proves I'm not gay. So let's put that to rest right now.
It says LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, liked by Marinspirations. Here is Gene. I don't know. Anyway.
Now, afterwards, I was scrolling through some of the comments, and I noticed that one of my female fans had tagged her boyfriend in the picture. And her boyfriend responded by saying, "Please stop tagging me in gay shit."
Yeah. The guy had a point.
Thanks. As if being gay makes you less of a man, right?
No, posting on Instagram, though, does make you less of a man.
Okay.
Posting your kisses on Instagram does make you less of a man.
Okay. Does our speaker understand the different contexts and connotations of the word gay? I mean, let's be honest. It does not always mean the one thing that people think it means all the time in every context.
Yeah, and I'm also a theater kid in Oregon. I'm sure he does know the context. I think it's just,
I know.
So I took a deep breath. And I responded.
A deep. Yep.
I took a deep breath. I took the balls off my chin, and I went right over.
Do you have to center yourself every time you respond to somebody on Instagram? How do you survive Twitter, dude?
I said.
Oh, and a wall of text in response to that. Okay, some guy's being a smart. Okay, all right. Tell us what you said.
Very politely that I was just curious because I'm on an exploration of masculinity, and I wanted to know why my love for my wife qualified as gay shit.
Oh, geez. Really, dude? Okay.
I'm on a curious exploration of masculinity. What's gay about that?
Okay. I'm assuming he's not going to read verbatim what he responded or what he wrote in response. So I'm going to read it to you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, brother. Just wanted to say hi. I saw your comment to your friend/girlfriend who tagged you in my post about my wife and I. Curious about what made that gay shit to you. I sincerely ask because I'm doing research on masculinity, what it means to be a man today, and when I see men react or comment like that, I just want to understand more. You're clearly ripped. Okay, that should be YOU''RE, but that's my English major talking. You're clearly ripped and confident, capital C for some reason, but I'm hoping there's a part of you, speaking about ripped and confident.
This sounds so gay. This sounds like a DL, like let's meet up later kind of message.
But I'm hoping there's a part of you that doesn't think love or expression of it makes something gay or shit. Okay, well, if you're seeking to understand, then why are you telling him what you already think he means? Just curious. I love learning from brothers around the world. Much love, man, and God bless Justin Baldoni. Okay, now I'm gonna give a little bit sort of abstract credit here because what do I do on this show, right? Ultimately, even if I hear something ridiculous, I'm trying to understand it, right? Okay, so he wants to understand where it's coming from. If I was this guy, and I'm curious to find out if he actually tells us if the guy ever responded and what he said. But if I was the guy that posted that comment, I'd tell him like, dude, gay doesn't mean sexual orientation in every context. That's what I would have said. Or don't you know that? I wasn't referring to sexual orientation. I was referring to it as it's sappy or it's wussy or it's like all sentimental or something. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways it can go depending on the context. And if you grew up in the 80s, you know that because it wasn't always referring to love or relationships or anything, but maybe I'm just rare or something. I don't know.
And then I said, honestly, I just wanted to learn.
Why are you laughing? If you're honest about it, why is that funny?
Now, he immediately wrote me back.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was going to go off on me, but instead he apologized.
Well, yeah, because he just got called out by a famous actor. What other option does he have? Okay.
He told me how growing up, public displays of affection were looked down on. He told me that he was wrestling and struggling with his ego and how much he loved his girlfriend and how thankful he was for her patience.
Oh, okay. This guy was called out by a famous actor and he was cornered.
Do you think the guy said all that?
I mean, he's showing us the text thing.
Oh, I can't. read it.
Presumably it's something that could be tracked or something. Now, I don't have an Instagram myself, so I don't know if this is private messages that he's
Can you
sharing.
imagine your annoying girlfriend? Like, if I had a girlfriend that sent me that, I would break up with it. Like, she must just be insufferable. I mean, that's just like brutal.
Yeah.
Look at this guy from Jane the Virgin. Like, oh, just every stupid quality. Like
Well, I could also see, and this is not a male specific trait. I could also see a certain level of jealousy, or that by the girlfriend posting this, she was somehow critiquing him and their relationship.
Clearly.
Right. And so getting defensive. Now, was that the best response to that? Especially if your girlfriend is kind of like saying, hey, how about some more affection or something? Probably not. Probably not.
I think it was the most natural response for this ripped guy. Because the Instagram, I mean, maybe it's somebody much younger than me who's like, doesn't. The thought of someone doing that on Instagram to me in a personal, when they could just like talk to me, is so insane. But that could be generational.
I assume this was some, at least compared to you and me, probably someone much younger. But anyway.
And then a few weeks later, he messaged me again.
Uh-huh.
This time he sent me a photo.
Oh.
Of him on one knee proposing.
Oh. He wasn't going to do that before?
Wait a minute. Why is he saying gay about anybody in that pink jacket and no socks in that look?
Well, and what does one have to do with the other? Like, was he not intending to do this at some point before? Did your interaction like cause him like, you know what? I actually really do love my girlfriend.
Well, I was gonna say it seemed like her doing that was a pressuring him to get married thing. It very much came off like that, and I was like, it's probably he's saying the guy's all ripped, so it's some Guido. So, you know, they're all like, what's that reality show about gypsies and the girls get those giant hoop skirts? But that's like such a cultural, you know, so that's like a marriage pressure thing. So,
well, that's the thing. The only thing I pick up from this is that this proposal was done out of guilt.
Yeah, like, she was like, "You think marriage is gay?"
Right? Yeah, it's like, oh, you think romance is somehow something to make fun of? Like, oh,
yeah.
Thank you, Manic, for the donation, and the athletic pair saying, hey, Manic, how's it going? All right, we are 10 minutes into this 18-minute deal. Oh, we got stuff to go. Let's go.
And all he said was, thank you. I've been this guy.
You have? How?
I get it.
How many things did you call gay? Tell me.
See, publicly, he was just playing his role, rejecting the feminine.
No, he was joking.
I think he was rejecting some stupid celebrity PR crap being injected into his personal life is what I got, the impression I got.
Yeah, and I assume that those messages were like direct messages, private messages. They weren't like public.
I think he did a little he was like, all right, I can just cheat. We'll get married. I think that's what that's clearly like what the situation is. Like he doesn't want to commit. And then it's the classic Guido story that played out every year in New Jersey.
Here's the thing though. The fact that the guy you responded to him directly, and you responded to him in a relatively straightforward, sincere manner. And how did he respond directly back? In a straightforward and sincere manner.
Well, wait, let me ask you this. What I think happened, this girl sent that. He sent that back to her. She got real theatrically upset. Then he sees the message from this guy, and he's like, you ever had somebody who gets like that, and then you can distract them from the situation? Like, hey, he wrote to me. So now she's like, well, sniffle a little bit back in her eye, and then what did he say? And then so now he's got to write that goofy shit to save his relationship with the worst girlfriend in the world.
That's one.
I think that's what happened.
That's one possibility. But on the alternate side, okay, I'll give the benefit of the doubt that this guy was just joking around on social media, which of course, as we know, never happens with anybody, whether you're male or female. And then when he actually gets in contact with the person specifically and is asked specific questions, he shows his quote unquote true colors
Right.
because he was just jerking around on social media.
Yeah, he probably didn't imagine he was going to hear from this dude.
No, yeah, it's just like he's making an offhanded comment. He's probably just joking around. Now, so either way, this guy was not some like mindless automaton who wrote back to Justin Baldoni and says, "Go fuck yourself."
Oh, I thought Justin Baldoni personally changed his soul. That's what I took from this.
Well, that's the implication, that if it wasn't for Justin Baldoni, he never would have proposed to his girlfriend. Thank you, Ebony Williams, for the lovely lemon. I always forget. I look at these and I'm like, it's a lemon and a pear, but I always want to say it's a lime. Are you guys sure it's not a lime? I'm pretty sure in those instances it's a lime and not a pear, because there is a pear emoji. That's a lime. But anyway, very proud of her little lime. I'm going to say lime. I know it's controversial, but anyway.
Right?
Right.
But secretly, he was waiting for permission to express himself.
For permission from Justin Baldoni.
If only God, thank goodness Justin Baldoni gave this guy quote unquote permission to express himself.
Thank you, Captain Feminine.
Wow, that's very, very, very righteous of you.
To be seen, to be heard, and all he needed was another man holding him accountable and creating a safe space for him to feel. And the transformation was instant.
To be seen and heard. I thought those were private messages. You made those public and you've shown their picture. I assume now you have permission to do so. That's fine. But he wasn't there to be seen and heard so much as, wow, he got in contact with somebody who asked him a forthright question and he gave a forthright answer. Imagine what would have happened if you'd encountered this guy in any other circumstance and asked him the same thing. You think you'd get something different?
I want to know what the hell he said to his friends if he's so goddamn forthcoming with this private message from somebody else. Tell me your big news. You had to take a guy trip.
What was the camping trip for? Yeah. Well, I mean, you're on the stage. You're fine baring your chest to everybody. Why don't you bare your soul? What was the big deal?
I loved this experience.
I'm sure you did.
Because it showed me that transformation is possible, even over direct messages.
But how do you know he transformed? You have no idea how this guy was.
Yeah, he thinks that he did that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You opened up. No, the only thing you opened up was a line of communication with someone on a level that wasn't 180 characters. That's it.
Oh, wow.
You do not know the quality of this guy before you met him. Now, maybe you've had vast conversations with him afterwards and know a lot more about him and his origins. Maybe that's the case, but that's not.
In fairness, when I saw the picture of that guy and I knew everything about him.
Well, you're just a judgmental prick.
I immediately know that guy. I grew up near Seaside Heights, man. I know like 1,000 of that guy.
Oh, I apologize. This is Kyle. Thank you so much. The guy proposed to his girl. How G at Y. Yes. And sorry about that, Kyle. The $2 ones, I don't know why Google still hasn't fixed that. Though, any super chat should be lingering in a notification regardless of the amount, as far as I'm concerned. I wish I had some pull there. I'd tell them, look, whether it's 50 cents or $50, somebody's donating their hard-earned money, and as far as I'm concerned, that deserves. I wish I could have a setting on my account that says
it doesn't let you set. Oh no, I didn't.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's the thing. So if someone dropped $300 or something, right, it would sit there in a notification for like an hour and a half or something. I don't even know but it's got a little countdown timer. But for $2, they never show a notification at all. So if the chat jumps and someone's super chat is there and I missed it because I was looking at another tab or something, I could miss it completely.
Right.
But in my world, like I say, wouldn't matter whether it was 99 cents or $10.
Yeah, right.
It would stay up there and at least have some kind of countdown to let me know that it was still there. So I apologize, Kyle. Got it, though. Thanks for letting me know in the chat. Okay, moving on. We got 8 more minutes to go.
Wow.
So I wanted to figure out how I could reach more men.
Okay.
But of course, none of them were following me. So I tried an experiment.
Okay.
I started posting more stereotypically masculine things.
Oh, so bait stuff for the kind of men you want to quote unquote change because you assume that they're inherently.
So he started posting more selfies of his muscles. Are you shitting me? Like,
wow. Okay.
Wow, that's big of you.
Yeah. Wow. It must have taken a lot of work. I'm sure the audience of mostly women right now are hating this.
Like my challenging workouts, my meal plans, my journey to heal my body after an injury.
For those of you at home, he's just there's just a montage now of different Instagram posts and videos and things of him working out, and
thing Guidos care about, which is his workout routine. So
and guess what happened?
Guess what happened? Oh, guys who are into physical fitness started responding.
Men started to write me.
Oh my God.
And then, out of the blue, for the first time in my entire career, a male fitness magazine called me.
The first time.
So let me get this straight. Instead of putting your queefy relationship, you started working out, and then people showed interest in your workouts. That's the story?
Yeah. So shared interests in things. Gosh, women like romance. They respond to that. Men, a lot of men at least, are into, I mean, if you put posters or pictures up on your Instagram about you painting classic cars, you would have a following of that subset, that genre of people who are interested in that kind of thing. And women, probably mostly men though, because men like cars.
A friend of mine is a comedian who's gay. Would always say that about romance movies, because he was like, I think the straight men, like even straight romance movies, are too gay. And he's right. Like that's what that guy meant. That's like a thing that feels feminine to care about. This guy's new baby. Like I give a shit about someone I don't know's baby on their Instagram.
How profound someone had a kid. I mean, don't get me wrong. When it's somebody that I know, that's a whole different situation.
Yeah, if I know you, that means something to me, but I don't care about the guy from Jane the Virgin. If he had what would I care about that? I don't even care about his workouts. I'm not even man enough to care about that.
Yeah. It's a sense of like self-importance. Like my example is somehow more important than the guy down the street. Kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Well, there's a lot of that goes around in the show business.
Yeah, well, the senator to the janitor. Was that guy somehow less important an individual because he was a janitor at one point, given what he did in his past or something? It's like,
I'm going to look that up. I'm dying to know who that is.
I'm kind of curious. I mean, like, if that was just an organic progression from like he was a public servant and then he stopped being a public servant and then his life went on and that's where he ended up. It's like, well, that sounds like one of the most honest politicians I can think of, unless he's a janitor because that's all he could get after he got out of jail.
Yeah, right.
And they said they wanted to honor me as one of their game changers.
Oh, boy, I bet you hated that. You should have turned that down. You know why? Because that is stereotypically masculine, showing up in a fitness magazine. Are you sure you want to be a role model for that?
Being competitive with awards and stuff.
I know, and trying to show off an unrealistic body type to most men.
Sir, your body's not realistic.
Do you want to be that guy who's effectively, passively body shaming other men?
Oh, I love this mystery. So it's like when I post chick shit, girls like it. And I post guy shit, guys like it. What's happening? I like the mystery.
He is one chameleon Trojan horse.
Is that really game changing?
Yeah, it really shows how shallow Hollywood is, doesn't it? Oh, okay.
Or is it just conforming?
Why don't you stop working out if you want to not conform?
I was about to say, it's like, okay, well then stop doing that. Why are you bothering keeping your body in chiseled shape? Why? I mean, you're a product. And that's fine. Like I said, I've known lots of people who have made plenty of fine careers off of their bodies, off of whatever their appearance, whether it's being chiseled or otherwise. That's fine. If people, something is worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it. Okay.
Yeah, right.
You obviously care about your physical fitness because your physical fitness translates over into marketability for your job. And there's no shame in that whatsoever. But don't pretend that it's something that it isn't.
You know what you should do? Get breast implants. That would be a game changer.
I mean, my just as an example, my grandfather, my dad's dad, he was not some chiseled hunk or nothing.
Right.
He owned a little bar in Wisconsin, and he had a bat underneath the bar in case somebody got out of hand, and he had tattoos on there. He was a merchant marine. That guy, you want to talk about masculinity, etc. He was a man, but he didn't look anything like this guy.
And that guy, and by the way, he's not the kind of person who would give a shit about this guy's workouts either. It's only like the guys that are writing to him are like, they have that gay question. I know I can't even tell you how like It's because they're so narcissistic, they almost become gay, but like that Liberace way, where he made a guy get surgery to look like him so he could bang himself. They get like that kind. It's like this extreme narcissist thing.
I mean, I guess maybe it comes from being told, like by People Magazine and everybody else, just how awesome he is all the time.
Yeah, maybe it's from watching giggling MILFs slide off their seat.
He can do no wrong or something. I don't know, but I mean, you would be able to have looked at my grandfather in his prime, looked nothing like this guy, and you would have seen a guy who worked his ass off, provided for his family, risked his own life, sacrificed his time, and so on. And you wouldn't have to like question whether or not he was a worthwhile person, regardless of how quote unquote masculine you thought he was.
Yeah, right. Well, none of this is masculine. Like peacocking yourself on Instagram is not a masculine. No. I don't know how people have a thing to fight that as some kind of masculinity. It's the most. This is like, it is gay. I mean, I don't even mean it as insult. I mean, the gay, like when I lived in New York, but near Chelsea, that's what they were about. All the gay guys were into working out, and that's who would be writing to him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it comes down to individual character, not the, sort of surface level appearance stuff. But okay. Well, tell me more about how guys who are actually interested in physical fitness, like you obviously are, shared an interest with you and then started paying attention to you because maybe they were looking for tips. Maybe they saw you as a role model. Maybe they were like, boy, I wish I could get a body like that. Okay. And this says what about them? Does that make them like just dumb lemmings then because they're following you because of your workout routine? What does that make the women that follow you because of your kissy routine? How is that any different ultimately?
And see, that's the problem. It's totally cool for men to follow me when I talk about guy stuff and I conform to gender norms.
Well, then why isn't it just as bad when women follow you for women's stuff?
Yeah, baby marriage stuff, which is not even feminist.
Yeah. Parenting, child rearing, that kind of thing. You have a giant demographic of women following you. So why is that not equally sort of stereotypical?
But if I talk about how much I love my wife, or my daughter, or my 10-day-old son, how I believe that marriage is challenging but beautiful, or how as a man I struggle with body dysmorphia, or if I promote gender equality, then only the women show up.
Okay, dude, people don't care about your philosophy if what you're advertising is your workout routine. Your personal philosophy, I hate to tell you this, your outlook on the world is as equal as everybody else's. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got an asshole. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Looking at you and your workout routine, that is a practical, pragmatic thing I could look at, maybe learn something from.
Right. Yeah, 20-minute workout, right.
20-minute workout, exactly. Get some advice, maybe see how do the stars do it, that kind of thing. It is a utility. You're providing a utility of knowledge in that instance. As far as how you live your life with your wife and your kid and your life does not apply to me. It doesn't apply to 99% of the population. You are not the center of everyone's universe on the basis of your life experience. Well, your life experience might be something that someone could learn something from, but I can't be you. I don't want to be you.
Well, that's not what People Baby said. So,
for People Babies.
People Babies feels like he's pretty awesome.
I guess so.
Where are the men?
They were right there. They just don't give a shit about what you think.
We're sitting here suffering through this now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm technically caring about what you think right now because I'm piecing it apart bit by bit.
And it's hard work.
Yeah, it is really hard work. And honestly, I don't care about your workout. So, man, I'm doing double duty right now.
So men?
Yes.
Men?
Yes.
Men?
Yes. Yeah, all of them that have fallen asleep during this because they're not trying to impress their girlfriend who's sitting next to them. I took you to a Dustin Baldoni thing. Maybe he'll get you excited enough after this show. We'll actually have some action together, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm not doing it for you, obviously.
I want a divorce. Yeah, I guess that's like.
How many divorces did you inspire after this?
I took you this Justin Baldoni thing to tell you I want a divorce.
I thought I'd soften the blow. Like,
with the Justin Baldoni talk.
Justin Baldoni talk, yeah.
Men.
Yes. This isn't shaming any of the men in the audience right now.
Well, where are there? There's no men in the audience.
There's that one guy that said, yeah, at the beginning, and that was about it. And his dad. His dad's in the audience, too. Yeah.
I understand.
Oh, do you? Really? Do you understand?
I don't think that you do.
What do you understand? Tell me.
Growing up, we tend to challenge each other.
Yeah, it's called building each other up, encouraging each other, either by deprecation or, genuine encouragement. That's kind of how men work. It's a psychological thing that's been unnoticed and documented for generations. Maybe you're aware, I don't know, in your research on masculinity.
We got to be the toughest, the strongest, the bravest men that we can be.
In order to protect our families and provide for them, which is what your dad was doing, right? Which is something that was so soft.
Yeah, right? Directly. Well, you already have that box mark.
Yeah, I already contradicts on argument because he's losing it now. I think if he hadn't already sold his audience just on his presence, he thinks he's really in the zone right now.
And for many of us, myself included, our identities are wrapped up in whether or not at the end of the day we feel like we're man enough.
Speak for yourself. I really don't think about it that much, honestly.
As I drift off to sleep, is I man enough?
I suppose, and I'm not necessarily making fun of people here or anything, but I suppose that if you have a poor vision of yourself, let's say, and you're trying to find something to hold on to keep your self-esteem up or something, maybe you can rush towards stereotypical things like working out and everything to fill that hole, right? That you don't put yourself on. I can understand that, certainly, and there's a lot of people out there that do that. But not everybody does. And some people are at relative ease with themselves. It takes a while.
Right. I think most people are more at ease with themselves than Justin Baldoni is what I think.
Probably so. And it's one of those things where you sort of assume the worst for everybody else when in fact he's probably obviously because of his situation, he's in the minority compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are far more comfortable with themselves than you would imagine. But then at the same time, few of us have anything to compare what was going on inside us to. So we don't know how comfortable are we really. And honestly, do you ever want to be 100% comfortable with yourself? Like have no ambition for anything or no sense of I need to develop further?
Yeah, it's like being dead. Why would you want that?
Yeah.
But I got a challenge for all the guys.
Oh, okay.
Because men love challenges.
And women hate challenge women, right? Women can't take challenges. Is that what you're saying? You sexist bastard.
I've almost completed the Baldoni challenge right now. What more challenge could there be for me?
How many challenges sitting through this? Yeah.
I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself.
Okay, that could go a couple of different ways depending on how you mean that. Do I need a tool for that particular?
Your strength, your bravery, your toughness.
Okay.
Can we redefine what those mean and use them to explore our hearts?
Why should I redefine those? And how is bravery not involved with one's heart? How is toughness not involved with one's heart?
You don't know me, Justin Baldoni. How dare you?
Okay, tell me how bravery, toughness, etc., are separated from one's heart inherently.
It's the same paradigm he said was sexist.
Exactly. It's like you're saying that stereotypes about gender roles and everything are bad, but braveness, or bravery, toughness, and so on are inherently detached from heart, emotional center. None of those things involved with one another because they're men. Oh, okay.
And isn't it, by the way, a pretty? I mean, I guess if you're young or a Guido, but are people not aware that people have a masculine and feminine side, like a yin and yang, like? That's like a cultural thing that's been around for a long time, hasn't it? Of recognizing that. Yeah,
Mars versus Venus, etc.
Right.
Everybody has these elements. I mean, sort of like say psychopaths or something. Everybody has these aspects to their personality. It depends, and everybody's different in how they express them, and also depends on whether or not they feel comfortable expressing them. But if you decide to feel comfortable expressing your vulnerability, that doesn't make you less of a man. If you feel comfortable expressing your aggressiveness, that doesn't make you less of a woman necessarily. It all depends on context and everything else. But even then, you're somehow not a woman if you're assertive or something. And it's not like you're not a man because you're sensitive or you're caring about. I mean, compassion is a human trait.
Right.
How it's expressed may be interpreted depending on the culture as either feminine or masculine or whatever.
Well, I think he means it being expressed as like thumbs up on his posts.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's putting these things as a value judgment of someone. Like, if I'm not falling into all the categories of this, then
I'm not a good human. Yeah, right.
If I have too many of the quote unquote masculine traits, then I'm somehow not human. I'm not in touch with my heart, aka my soul, my emotions, that which actually makes me a human being and not an automaton. So like already he separated being a man from being a human earlier, and now he's saying that stereotypical male, I don't know, traits are now separated from the emotional center of the human being. So, okay, well, tell me, how do I get in touch with my heart and also be brave, Justin? Yes, I got to hit the button again.
Are you brave enough to be vulnerable?
Oh, go to hell.
You're not, motherfucker. You didn't tell me any of your story.
Are you brave enough to tell us?
He didn't tell one of the things that he was insecure about. Not one. Just this other guy's business.
Yeah. Has he given us any personal examples yet of his own transformation or behavior? Aside from,
all I know is his dad's a great guy.
Yeah.
He used to feel too manly, but now he doesn't. I don't even understand what the hell his transformation was. That is still not clear to me.
Yeah. If he's got, okay, now he's got 5 minutes left. So maybe he's about to give us like, I used to do X and now I do Y. Because so far it's just been, here's People Magazine telling you how perfect a dad I am. And here's me engaging with a guy personally about his thoughts and feelings on masculinity, which means that I'm responsible for opening up his heart on thoughts and feelings about masculinity. Not that he didn't already have them of his own. Right. I gave him permission. Okay.
If he showed old magazines he used to be on where he's like flexing and he's like, marriage is gay. Justin Garrett, like that. Oh, okay. There's like a transition to something.
Sure. Like here's some old tweets where I insulted myself. And now I feel better about it. Okay. Well, okay. Tell me.
To reach out to another man when you need help.
Like, okay, what did you
dive headfirst into your shame?
Okay, what was your shame that you went on the camping trip for? I mean, this is the only example of yourself you brought up so far with any substance. What was the camping trip for?
Are you strong enough to be sensitive?
For God's sakes.
To cry, whether you are hurting or you're happy, even if it makes you look weak.
I bet he cheated and he felt guilty about it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't have any context. Be vulnerable for us, Justin. Be vulnerable.
Are you confident enough to listen to the women in your life?
Why should I not listen to the men in my life? I mean, you listen to your father now, right? Were your friends, were you not confident enough in your friends they would listen to you? Is that why you took them out into the boonies somewhere so they couldn't run away from you?
By the way, most people listen to the women in their life. This big move is to get you to listen to women who aren't in your life that write in a blog. That's what the big quest was. Like, it's just normal human interaction. You're going to have women in your life that you listen to, whether you're related to or not, or just in a relationship or you work with them. He's talking about like the world of online. I'll bet you that's how he's thinking of all of this.
If my mother ever took, that tone with me, I sure as fuck was listening.
Yeah, right.
I don't want my mom angry at me.
To hear their ideas and their solutions, to hold their anguish.
What?
And actually believe them.
Oh, listen and believe. Okay. And because anything that comes from a woman is inherently better than coming from a man? What would happen, I wonder, if we had two different Justins, clones of each other, and the exact same words came to him from a man on one side and a woman on the other? I wonder how he would assess the wisdom or value of what was said.
I'm sure he would. I mean, what do you mean, like a blind taste test, or he knows?
Yeah,
because it's better if it comes out of. I mean, that's the theme of TED and all this other shit for the last like 6 years. Is it's not what's said, it's who's saying it that's more important. So, I'm guessing that's the principle.
Even if what they're saying is against you.
Oh, believe them even if they say what they're saying. So what if it's false? What if they're lying? Am I just supposed to like sit back and take it?
I mean, it could be almost anything. Like
it's
such a bizarre thing because it could cover like from nothing to like something horrible
Yeah. Like, when a woman says, "You're a mass murderer," I guess, yeah, you have a point. What does a conversation between him and his wife in an argument look like, I wonder?
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't even imagine.
Because like when I hear, it doesn't matter whether it's talking about masculinity or femininity. Whenever in one of these talks I hear somebody like state their perspective on reality, I then always think to myself, what is it like for this person to move through the world, to just walk down the street and interact with people if they actually believe what they're preaching? Like, if you go to the Starbucks and the barista is a female and they get your order wrong, like really wrong, do you just stay quiet because you don't want to talk down to a woman?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing it's all for show, and but who knows what degree of what it's not,
Yeah, he hasn't made any confession yet, though. He hasn't told us like how terrible he used to
That's
be.
why it must be terrible.
I'm guessing, yeah, it must be pretty bad if he's not willing to at least say it on stage.
And will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk?
Oh, Trump. Okay. All right.
When you hear stories of sexual harassment, when you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk, will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "me too"?
Yep. This was in the heart of the Me Too.
He did some Me Too thing. That's what I'm going to bet. He did some, this is offensive to make up for whatever. It might have been nothing, and someone just has a charge at him. But that's what this is.
It could also be preemptive to something that could come out later or something.
That's what I'm saying. This is like
when he's talking that Tony's taking, and again, okay, I'm not on the bingo card, but I'll make some assumptions. Who is he trying to lecture here? Is he lecturing the audience that's mostly women, or is he effectively lecturing a version of himself that he sees sort of out there?
I think it's himself. I think it's himself. I think this is like now. I don't get the impression, but this is just from watching. I don't get the impression that he's like a rapist or something.
No.
I'll bet he has like a real bigger numbers than Joss Whedon. Remember when Joss Whedon had that thing come out that he cheats a lot, because with his sensitive feminist writing. So this guy must have been just like a young Marlon Brando.
Well, yeah, this might be penance for something that he's.
Yeah, and especially if you have a TV role and he had sex with some wannabe actress, that's like a whole thing. That could be a whole thing.
This is serious stuff.
Yeah, that's why he's not telling you what he did.
I was about to say, yeah, the longer he goes without saying anything about how he has changed or what he has learned from his own behavior. Because so far, everything has been either couched language or obfuscated or just look at how people think I am awesome.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's why it seemed like a PR person put this as like a charm offensive to preempt any Lothario behavior he has.
I was about to say a preemptive strike for some PR stuff. Yeah.
I've had to take a real honest look at the ways that I've unconsciously been hurting the women in my life.
Okay. All right. Maybe we're getting some examples here, but unconscious, I'd say that counts for unconscious bias.
Yeah.
So I'm circling that one on the bingo card. Okay. He talked about equality earlier. That's not equity. We'll see. Okay. Maybe now is the time. Is he finally going to reveal something? Okay. Tell us how you behaved. Okay.
And it's ugly.
Yeah. Okay.
And
my wife.
Yes.
Told me that I had been acting in a certain way that hurt her and not correcting it.
Like
banging her sister?
Basically,
yes.
Sometimes when she would go to speak at home or in public.
Did you talk over her? Did you interrupt her?
You man-interrupted?
Yeah, did you mansplain?
I would just cut her off mid-sentence and finish her thought for her.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Wow. This is what's broken you down to this point? That's it, really? Okay. Is that because Kurt, I don't know if you know this. Women never cut off men.
No.
It never happens. This is totally a masculine toxic behavior.
And how do I know his wife's not a dingbat? How do I know? How do I know she shouldn't be cut off?
It's awful.
Account deleted says, is self-vilification a square? Yes, self-vilification and wretchedness is a square. Link to the bingo cards in the description, guys, if you need to take a look at it. For reference, here's what I've got circled so far. Mind reading assumes motives, plays victim, self-vilification or wretchedness, feminism, childhood or family anecdote, benevolent condescension, free space, contradicts own point or argument, toxic, leaves out vital context, and microaggression / unconscious bias. That's where we're at. We're so scattered right now. I'd be surprised if we get a bingo, but there's still a couple minutes left. We'll see.
The worst part was that I was completely unaware when I was doing it. It was unconscious.
Oh, well, okay.
So here I am doing my part, trying to be a feminist, amplifying the voices of women around the world, and yet at home, I am using my louder voice to silence the woman I love the most.
Oh.
Did you have to take a special trip with his guy friends to tell them that? Guys, I've been interrupting a lot at home.
Yeah, was this the big confession at the camping trip?
I don't know if you're going to want to be my friends after I tell you this, but sometimes I may interrupt.
And really, this is the worst you've got. This is the most toxic expression of your masculinity from the time you were a kid, being ashamed of your father, until marriage. This was the worst you've done. This is the worst example you have of toxic masculinity. Mr. movie star, TV star, whatever, supercut guy. This is the worst you've done. You know what, dude? I'll tell you what. I'm not a priest or nothing. I mean, I can't grant you salvation. But in the church of manhood, I forgive thee. You know what? If this is the worst you've done, you are on easy street. But I have a feeling, I have a very distinct feeling, you're not being authentic right now.
If that's the worst he's done, he's probably the best man who ever lived.
I was about to say, it's like, dude, if that's it, you have got nothing to apologize for. And maybe you could teach some real assholes something, but I'm not sure. Thank you, Johnny Stoffel. Cutting off women is verbal manspreading. Ooh, good one. That's a good one.
Well, Justin ain't going to come up with a good one like that.
Yeah.
So I had to ask myself a tough question.
Uh-huh.
Am I man enough to just shut the hell up and listen?
Oh, God. Well, yeah.
Why don't you have her give the talk then? You jag off.
Also, why didn't you? I mean, I thought this was a early lesson of marriage. I mean, when it comes to men, just learn the phrase, yes, dear.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's what I've been told over and over. That's probably stereotypical too. So I'm an evil person.
That was in the man script I was given as a boy.
Exactly. I can't pay attention to that. That's a script I was handed by masculinity.
Shut up and listen.
It's like when your wife talks, just shut up and let her talk. Because we know it's true.
I got to be honest. I wish that didn't get an applause.
What?
Do you? And why did you put it up there, and why did you pause for applause? I wish it didn't, but gosh. Because I'm being self-effacing right now, guys. I'm being so genuine with you. I really am.
Guys.
Yes. Sorry. That is a gendered term. That's actually offensive. Okay. Are you talking to the whole room, or are you just talking to the men? Because, okay.
This is real.
Is it?
And I'm just scratching the surface here, because the deeper we go, the uglier it gets. I guarantee you. I don't have time to get into porn and violence against women or the split of domestic duties or the gender pay gap.
Whoa. Okay.
The pay gap. He brought up the pay gap.
Brought the pay gap. Okay. So circling that. But also, you equate porn, household duties, and domestic violence? You're putting all those in the same category?
Boy, this guy was up to all kinds of hijinks, huh?
Oh, cats, man. What skeletons are in that finely coiffed closet of yours in your head? I'm not even sure that his 5 o'clock shadow is in spray on. I mean, at this point, I don't know about his authenticity. Come on, play.
But I believe that as men, it's time we start to see past our privilege.
Oh, privilege? Hell. Man, gosh, guys, we're almost.
Wow, the Trojan horse is really unloading his.
Wow. It's like one of those.
Right when he puts you to sleep, like the myth, they all come out of the horse.
It's that tail behind thoroughbred at the Kentucky Derby that's just coming ahead right at the end.
Wow.
Dude,
I didn't see it coming.
You got literally have like about 3 minutes. If you can give me just a couple more, we got a bingo out of this. Come on, dude, you can do it.
And recognize that we are not just part of the problem, fellas, we are the problem.
Didn't you just tell us that men aren't all... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm backing up the things he said before that he's completely contradicting now. We already have that circle squared, but still, it's not that men are always bad, but men, you're the problem. Oh, okay. Thanks, Justin.
The glass ceiling exists because we put it there.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And if we want to be a part of the solution, then words are no longer enough.
Oh, okay. What do we do?
There's a quote that I love that I grew up with from the Baha'i writings.
Okay.
It says that the world of humanity is possessed of two wings, the male and the female.
Oh, okay. So the world of humanity is possessed of two wings, the male and the female. So
is he a Baha'i?
I don't know. I assume maybe, or at least.
Oh.
But okay, so they are both they both serve the same function, but are different things, and they both keep the body afloat. Let's say. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. There's a masculine, feminine side. That's like old teaching in a lot of.
Yeah, and you could extend that metaphor to mean that the bird's body is humanity at large, or every individual.
Well, what if just one wing is the problem?
If you don't have the other one, then you just fall to the earth and die.
So long as these two wings are not equivalent in strength, the bird will not fly.
Yeah, but strong at different things in different ways, because they are different. Male and female are different. It's not that men are defective women or something. That's how you keep talking about it, as though the men are just like, being a man all by themselves. Is being too feminine also toxic then?
Listen, Abdul El-Baha is a jerk off. Let's put it that way. His analogies suck.
So women.
Oh.
On behalf of men all over the world.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Who feel similar to me.
Oh, the good ones. Right.
Please forgive us.
Oh.
What? If you're the good one, what?
Forgive us for what? Forgive us who feel like me? Forgive you because you cut off your wife in conversation occasionally?
He did worse than that. But any guy saying this, you're guilty of something. You're guilty of something. There's nobody spews this nonsense unless they are guilty.
And now I would like to ask you to formally help us. Because we cannot do this alone.
Okay, so we need the women's help. It's not up to men.
To do feminist stuff?
Oh, okay, tell me.
We are men. We're going to mess up.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Men are inherently flawed. Women are perfect. Practically.
Wait, isn't this the old thing of like being incompetent to not be given more responsibilities of the man script? Like this is like the most still old fashioned, like doop doop sitcom dad kind of shit.
We need supervision, women. We can't be trusted. Obviously, we're going to screw up. We're going to talk over you. We are inherently flawed from birth. We need your guidance to become perfect people. But we won't be perfect people because even with your guidance, we're still going to be men. It's another iteration of original sin. Okay, tell me more about how women who are practically perfect in every way, Mary Poppins, are going to save all of us terrible men.
We're going to say the wrong thing. We're going to be tone deaf. We're more than likely probably going to offend you.
And women never do any of that, of course. Okay.
But don't lose hope.
Oh.
We're only here because of you.
And they're only there because of us. It takes two wings to make a baby, don't you? Did you
this baby won't fly this way?
I know. Well, get off the cliff, little baby. Ah!
And like you, as men, we need to stand up and become your allies as you fight against pretty much everything.
Oh.
We need your help. And
men don't struggle. Men don't have it hard at all. They're just given everything all the time. In fact, half of men's struggles don't have anything to do with the opposite number.
Oh, he's nauseating. I bet even the wine ants have dried up at this point.
Celebrating our vulnerability.
Yeah, okay.
And being patient with us.
Oh, please.
As we make this very, very long journey.
Yes.
from our heads
Uh-huh.
to our hearts.
Oh yeah, because men just can't do that. They're just unable to do that. They're naturally predisposed to being all head and no heart. Well, it depends on which head you're talking about, but sure.
This is a lot of material. You were right. This really is a lot of.
Yeah, if you needed inspiration,
Even on pussies, we never were this. We've never achieved what Justin, what's his last name? Bagoli. Baldoni has achieved today.
I thought this might be good fodder for you.
Oh my! This is like a human queef on stage.
Finally, to parents.
Oh, which can be both men and women, you know.
Instead of teaching our children.
Our children? Okay.
To be brave boys.
Uh-huh.
Or pretty girls.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Ebony Williams, for the super lemon and tiny little adoring pear. Or lime. I've been corrected different times on that. Is it a lime? Is it a pear? Plime. Guys, here, from now on, guys, I'm going to call it a plime. That way I cover all the bases. Like dog, cat,
fair compromise, yes.
Yeah, plime. So it's lemon, it's super lemon and plime. There you go.
Can we maybe just teach them how to be good humans?
Oh, wait, so now you're saying that girls aren't good humans? They can be not good humans then?
What is your measure of good by that? Who are they?
Teach them how to be good humans. Being brave, yeah, that's not a good humanistic trait. Oh. And of course, you already just demoralize and degrade women by saying parents just teach their girls to be pretty. Yeah, whereas bravery is actually a demonstration of something of character. Obviously, parents, you need to stop teaching your girls just to be pretty.
Didn't he say that his dad didn't teach him to be brave and taught him to be pretty, basically?
Yeah, he didn't teach him how to hunt children. You know, like all other dads do. It's like, son, today's the day I'm going to teach you. See Billy down the street there? I want you to take aim with this rifle and just line it up straight, boy.
I want you. You're a man today, son.
You're a man today. So there's a kid down the street.
Oh, my God.
So back to my dad.
Oh, you mean the guy that you were mad at when you were
Are you sure he hasn't hung himself in the back?
Did he teach you to be brave or did he teach you to be pretty?
Oh.
Growing up,
yeah,
like every boy, I had my fair share of issues.
Yeah.
But now I realize that it was even thanks to his sensitivity and emotional intelligence that I'm able to stand here right now talking to you in the first place.
You know what? Okay.
I want to hear it. Don't blame me, like from the back.
yeah, but here's the thing. Okay. Something my dad told me a long time ago when I had a fight with him. I was a kid or something. And he said to me, you know what, Scribe, I won't use my real name. You know what, Scribe, the older I got, the smarter my dad became. You know why that is? Because when you're growing up, and I don't care if you're a boy, a girl, whatever, if you have parents who actually care about you, actually take part in your life, and for those of you that don't, I don't know what to say other than my condolences. But if you have parents that actually give a rip about your life and about your upbringing and everything else, you're not going to understand what they've gone through to bring you to that point until you've gone through it yourself. Because advice, anecdote, all this stuff, it's just reference material. You don't know something for sure until you've gone through it. I had that argument with my dad. I did a thing one time. I had a girl over at night when he wasn't aware of it, and I just got chewed out the next morning. And he said, "You don't know this girl. You didn't do this and this. And finally I just said, Dad, you might be right. You might be 100% right. In fact, you probably are. But you know what? I'm not going to know you're right until I know you're right. You know what I mean? Until I've experienced it, I've gone through that in my life. And you know what? The thing is, my dad was right. Not only about that advice about stuff, but that one thing he said way back when. The older you get, the smarter your dad becomes. The older I've become, like right now, like literally, I'm not even kidding. As I'm saying these words, I'm hearing my dad's tone of voice. I'm hearing my dad's cadence and how just forming the sentences I'm saying. That happens to everybody who's actually introspective about things. And again, if you're lucky enough to have parents that actually gave a rip, even if you had a bad experience with them or a rough experience, if they actually gave a rip, 9 times out of 10, you're going to grow up and at some point start hearing their voices in your own mouth. And you're going to have maybe an understanding that they weren't completely full of shit. Maybe sometimes, but not always.
Right.
And
Just his dad cared enough to take baths with him.
Thank you, Razvan. I'm going to screw up this last name and I apologize. Diaconcescu. Big fan of Kurt. Loved you on his podcast. Well, thank you, Razvan.
Thank you.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, I'll say this again in a couple of minutes, but links to Kurt's website, the Gas Digital site for the Can't Get Right podcast, and his YouTube channel are all in the description. We're almost done, guys. We're almost there.
The resentment I had for my dad,
Yeah.
I now realize had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with me.
Oh, my God.
And my longing to be accepted and to play a role that was never meant for me.
What?
So while my dad may have not taught me how to use my hands,
Yeah.
he did teach me how to use my heart.
Oh my God.
Oh, so cardio? I mean, obviously that worked out for you.
My dad ran track and he used to take me, and yeah. He's in tears. This guy sucks. Oh my God.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Justin. I really hope, speaking abstractly, I really hope that you are the person you want to be and you are comfortable with yourself. And that's fine. And if you're not going to like tractor pulls every weekend, somehow I think you're okay. All right. Here's the thing.
He'll be just fine as long as the attention from people, babies doesn't stop. he'll feel just fine.
You know, if he's earning a living and supporting his family in whatever way he's doing, if he hunts for acting jobs like his dad hunts for children, then no, sorry. No, I didn't mean to like that. But anyway, no, if ultimately I don't have any animosity towards Justin, except that he's projecting a lot of stuff onto people in order to make himself feel better about his own insecurities. Most of the time.
This whole thing has been a tour of his insecurities.
That's what a lot of TEDx's are. I mean, if you listen to the teachers and the parents
right.
on these things, oftentimes what you're watching on a stage is a one woman or one man show of their internal mental struggle and trying to come to terms with it, and also looking to the audience for affirmation that they've made the right decisions. Because often
make some jokes, goddammit. I understand that feeling.
Right.
Just make some jokes.
make some jokes, or they'll say at the end of every sentence, like, right. Like reflexive, they're looking for affirmation. They want the audience to agree with them. Like, I made the right choice, correct? You know, you agree you're with me on this, right?
And to me, that makes him more of a man than anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Oh yeah, there they all are.
Yeah.
Look at all the men in that audience there. There's one there. Okay, there's one, and I think that's one out there. Maybe hard to tell.
Yeah, I can't. Who's the one lady sitting down? She doesn't show the wet spot. She can't get up.
Yeah, she's like, it'd be really embarrassing if I tried to stand up. Right okay, well, guys, I'm going to bring up the bingo card. We'll go over it one more time, and then wrap this up. Before we do, though, final overall thoughts on this, Kurt?
Oh my God, it feels like, first of all, I feel drained emotionally. It feels like the opposite of a bingo. I just experienced an ognib, if you will.
All right. So I understand the image is cut off on the screen. Guys can't do anything about that, but you can get the last line there. You can see what's circled or not. Okay. So going to the bingo.
Did he have any weightless examples? I thought he did.
Well, the camping trip to me, but
Yeah.
let's go through the card real quick. I think we've got ourselves a bingo. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. Oftentimes and many times he would assign attributes or behaviors to one gender and not even consider them.
Yeah, the whole thing was that. I mean, his entire talk was that.
Yeah, so I'm going to circle that one. Let me save and then refresh the right tab here so I don't log myself out. Marginalization. If I was being ridiculously generous, I could talk about the glass ceiling thing, sort of, but that's more wage gaps. So no, I'm not going to circle that one. Equity. He talked about equality.
Yeah.
And equity, again, guys, as I understand it in the modern parlance, equity means equality of outcome.
Right.
And he talked more about opportunity in reference than he did outcome. So if somebody has a really good argument in the chat, maybe, but I'm going to leave that. Word salad, definitely.
Yeah.
He talked a whole bunch of roundabout himself several times. So I'm circling that one. Let's see. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. I didn't hear anything new or novel from him.
Yeah, no.
I didn't hear him say something I like to call or anything like that. So, systemic institutional. Again, if I was being really generous, I could say glass ceiling denotes institutional sexism. I don't know. Do you think that counts?
I don't know.
I mean, glass. Okay, chat. I'm literally on the
conscious bias. He hit for sure.
Yes, yeah, I already circled that one. But yeah, okay, guys.
I think they have to say it. I feel like they should have to say systematic.
Okay, because I'm on the fence for aggregate, but it's okay. Patriarchy. I mean, he all but talked about the men and the glass ceiling. Okay, if I can't give glass ceiling to institutional, I'm going to give it to patriarchy because that's really what he's talking about. So circle and patriarchy. Sorry, let me update the. I got to do a two-step process here to show it on the screen. Let's see. Weightless example. That camping trip without context by itself, because also the fact that he kept hinting at his own stuff.
Yeah, right.
And also cutting off your wife in comparison to what he was alluding to this entire time.
No, I mean, that was later than air.
that does not count. So you know what, guys? With weightless example, let me update this right there. You know what we've got, guys?
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
There you go, guys. Did we get a bingo on the last one you were on here? I don't think we did.
I can't read the bottom ones, but
yeah.
What are those ones?
Yeah, okay, let's get to the last ones here. Takes credit for something done / experienced by others in their demographic. He projected onto others. I mean, does he take credit for? I don't.
What would taking credit be?
Well, I mean, okay. Do I want to say that taking credit or like also representing guilt or complicity?
Him apologizing for all the men, that's not taking credit, is it?
I mean, he was representing. That is a word choice issue, guys. Do you think chat? Okay, you be the tiebreaker, chat. Does him apologizing for all men, does that count as taking credit for something? I mean, I guess technically it does. Okay, chat. If you think it does, put a 1 in the chat. If you think it doesn't, put a 2. Okay, so 1, taking credit equates to him apologizing for all men. 2, if that's too much of a reach. And thank you again, Ebony Williams, for the pom-pom marching plime. That's what it is. Bookworm says 1. Rick Ashberger says 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. A lot of ones. Taking blame for something. Maybe I need to put credit / blame. Maybe that would clarify it something. Okay, you know what, guys? That's good enough for me because I will. Yeah, I'm. Yeah. Him taking credit or representation powers or something for an entire demographic. Men,
blame sounds like a.
Yeah, that works for me. So, gosh, you know what, guys? I hate to tell you this, but.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
All right, second bingo, guys. And thank you, Zan Wild, for the Dogcat Fox. Big smile on Dogcat Fox. Oh, hello, Dogcat Fox. Do you know about Dogcat Fox?
No.
Oh, Dogcat Fox is the genetically engineered pet that lives with me on the moon.
Oh.
Because there's this emoji in the super chats on YouTube.
The free space illustration?
Yes, the free space. Yeah, that little guy right there. That guy right there. He's been variously mistaken for a dog, a cat, or a fox. And at some point, I just split the difference, kind of like I did with the Plime, and I just said, it's Dogcat Fox.
Yeah.
And Dogcat Fox lives with me on the moon, and he's my pet and companion. This is the ridiculous, stupid lore you need to know to understand to be on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very important. Very, very important. Okay, moving on. White supremacy. No, he never brought up race. Never did. And then a list. I was surprised. He never gave us like a list of steps to take to cure yourself. Thank you, Manic, so much for the Dogcat Fox with the big heart. Aw, Dogcat Fox. Now, Dogcat Fox. Sorry?
Instead of a list, he kind of was just like, we just screw it up anyway.
Right. I mean, he gave a list of like inherent flaws, but he never like said 1, 2, 3. Here's a list. Now, Manic, just so you know, Dogcat Fox embracing that heart like that is expressing some very vulnerable emotions that I'm not sure equate to the masculinity that I possess. Now, dog, cat, fox, it's a nebulous area, but just to make sure that I'm defending my toxicity by saying I'm not sure I identify with that kind of compassion. Lastly, anecdote that probably never happened. The only anecdotes he gave were he cut off his wife in conversation, which I can completely believe.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay.
That did happen.
And he went on his camping trip with his friends,
That
even though
happened.
he didn't give us the details. I believe that it happened.
Yeah, right.
That his dad never taught him to hunt children. I believe that too.
Right.
So I can't circle that one, but I'll tell you what, guys, we got 2 bingos out of that.
I did not think it was going to be a double bingo. I thought it was going to be a no bingo.
I thought it'd be one maybe, but the fact that we got 2 out of the deal is actually really kind of surprising. So let me highlight those for reference purposes. Oh, I got to get the right shape tool thing on I'm using a really complex program called MS Paint to do this, guys. I know it's like high class, really high end stuff.
What's the most bingos you ever had? 3?
9.
Oh, who was that again?
That was the guy that we just did not too long ago, where it was, what was it? Oh my God, I've suddenly forgotten. Hold on a second. I want to get it right so I don't give somebody the wrong reference. It's actually the highlighted video on my channel right now. It's the no, that's not the one. Come on, where'd it go? No, there it is. The loss of privilege.
Oh God, that guy, right? Yeah. I have to watch the rest of that one. I had to run to an appointment and I only saw the beginning.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of spoiled it, but by the time we get to assessing the whole thing, oh man,
that guy was insufferable. I mean,
he completely beat out Agents of Change by 1 bingo.
Right. He had the same kind of narcissist thing this guy has.
A little bit, yeah. I am the center of the universe. I represent the perfect person, so on and so forth.
Maybe sometimes I shouldn't talk.
Yeah, maybe I should let someone else talk who knows more than I do.
And I have to deal with that loss of privilege of me not being the center all the time.
But everybody, there you go. We've reached the end. We have a double bingo, which is more than I expected. And I mean, it says something about Justin. You know, he's not the most terrible TEDx speaker ever, but he got up there. And again, just depending on how the shuffle of the card went at a particular time, we might have had several bingos beyond just 2. But
I'm going to go look at those articles that he posted. I'm so curious if he actually says something somewhere.
Oh yeah, about what examples about what terrible thing he used to do.
Yeah, like there must be something.
If it's just cutting off his wife, like I say, if that's it, if in the wholeness of his life that is the worst sin he's committed in interacting with women, the guy's a saint.
Yeah, there's no way that's the worst thing. That's what
I mean. Until I'm told otherwise, I'll just believe that Justin is just a very guilty feeling saint. Okay, guys, last minute or 2 here. If you have any other questions or comments about the show, or any questions for Kurt or anything, again, you can find links to Kurt Metzger Comedy, the Gas Digital Show, and his accompanying YouTube channel for the Can't Get Right podcast. Also his Instagram, also his Twitter, also the link to Kyle Dunnigan's YouTube channel, where Kurt and Kyle occasionally do their little show called Pussies, where they play, guys. It's not real. I know it's tough to tell depending on how many TEDx's you've watched. They play male feminists coming to terms with their inherent toxicity. Let's see. Black Romeo, Scribe Light. When did work, politics, sports, and women stop being real? I don't know. According to Justin, they're not real issues for anybody. So, Dina B, thanks for the stream. Scribe Light, have a great day. Thank you, Dina. Have a good day. Kiever Dam, does an unnumbered list count as a list? Did he list off something though? I mean, he list off flaws, I guess.
It didn't seem like a formal. I feel like that squares a formal list. Like you've put up ones where there was a list, you know?
Yeah, like 1 or 2. I mean, I could see where you're coming from with that, where you just like quote unquote lists off different aspects of manhood or whatever that are problematic or whatever. But he didn't put up a card that said, here's the steps, or there's 2 things, or there's 3 things to keep in mind. Like, that's sanctity of the bingo card, guys. I'm gonna fight back. Unless you guys can quote something he said that went that way, I'm gonna leave that. So yeah, we might have had a triple bingo. I'll give you another second or 3 here before we wrap it up. Let's see. Analin, Scribe Light, he wouldn't have this talk if he was fat. He wouldn't have the audience he does if he did not look the way he does. Okay, he would not have that kind of following or gotten that much attention on Instagram if he wasn't a handsome, sculpted TV actor. By the way, that sculptedness that he maintains himself consciously, he never brought up that part. He never brought up like body shaming or the necessity of men to look like men, etc. He really strayed away from criticizing his own.
I'm looking at this in Bustle, and he has a story about at 21 that some guy approached him. He was at a Los Angeles spa, and a guy tried to casting couch him. And he said he slowly started to try to get me to take off my pants because I had my bathing suit on. He was naked. And I remember the way he did it, using his power and what he does and who he knows as a way to make me feel less than. He did a casting couch shit with some dude, I think, is what his
suspicion. All right. Evil One in the Scribe, I thank you for giving us cancer with these TED Talks. You're welcome. Let's see. Willett Ford, Scribelight, of course there isn't a list. You can't cure your toxic masculinity. I suppose that's true. Black Romy, the list he ran through at the end of things he can't talk about. Oh, okay. Kurt, I'll leave it to you. It is, does him.
Oh, wait. So he goes, I can't even get, well, because he didn't give it. It was like, he's purposely saying he's not giving it to us, even though he said a couple of things. I guess how official does it have to be for it to be a list?
Of the things I can't talk about. You know what?
If he said porn, how many things did he say? He said porn. And...
Well, here's where my mind went. If he had put that up as a slide without any numbers on it, but here's the things I can't talk about, would I consider that a list? I would, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
All right, guys. You know what? You talked me into it, which means that I'm going to be circling, if you can believe it. A list. Let me update the card here one more time. And you know what that means, guys?
Wow.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
We have
a triple bingo.
Triple bingo. You know what, guys? You convinced me. Yep, that does constitute a list at the end there. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I know Kurt and I appreciate it because God knows I don't know if we've been able to get through it all by ourselves.
I can't be vulnerable except on live streams.
Except on live streams, yeah. This is the place where I can actually speak my truth and present myself fully to the world.
Yeah.
Again, guys, if you'd like to hear more from Kurt, you can find links in the description to his website, to his Gas Digital podcast, Can't Get Right, as well as his YouTube channel of same. And his Instagram and his Twitter, and the link to Kyle Dunnigan's YouTube channel where he and Kurt do their occasional show, Pussies. You got anything coming up in the near future, Kurt?
No, just that.
Okay, well, there you go. And if you'd like to hear more from me or the Ranting Monkey or Satsu 2 Cents, you can find all three of us tonight on Satsu 2 Cents' channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for The Lords of the Night, where we will talk about the news of the day, news stories you submit, what we've been up to on the intertubes, and then your guys' questions and comments. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your participation. And
thanks, Scribe.
Oh, and Kurt, thank you so much for joining me again. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
These things are far more entertaining with a partner in crime than all by my lonesome as I sit and slowly descend into insanity. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. It'll all go towards horrible things I'll put into my body to salve the pain of these kind of TEDx talks like goldfish crackers and Jack Daniels. But anyway, guys, I hope you all have a good rest of your Monday. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. And Kurt will see you on his YouTube channel and over on his website, so go check that out.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.